Hello everybody and welcome. Today I'm going to be making a handbag and trying leatherwork for the very first time. So I have been sewing my handmade wardrobe for over 10 years now, and now that I have a pretty established handmade wardrobe, I have been thinking also about how to renew and mend these clothes to prolong their lifespan, but then also I've been thinking about accessorizing. And I don't have a lot of accessories. I usually wear between 2 to 3 pairs of shoes per season and 1 or 2 bags. But leatherwork is something that I've always wanted to try, but have always been a little bit intimidated by because it looks complicated. I don't know anything about leather, and the tools and techniques just intimidate me. And so when Solace Leather reached out to me and offered me a kit, I was intrigued. Solace Leather is an online shop specialized in DIY wallet, purses, and handbag kits that are especially for beginners, and each kit features pre-punched pieces to put together, all of the tools that you'll need, and then a step-by-step video tutorial to show you the process of making whatever you've chosen to make from beginning to end. I didn't know the first thing about leather, so before confirming my interest, I asked a few questions and Solace Leather responded very readily and with detail. So their leather is sourced as a by-animal product and from certified distributors in South Wales, Australia, and Texas in the United States. The tanning methods used are sometimes chrome, sometimes vegetable, depending on where they source their leather and which distributor, and so it really depends on a kit-by-kit basis. If you are interested in one of these kits but you have more questions as to where they get their leathers and the quality, don't hesitate to contact them. They responded to me very quickly and in much detail, and so I'm sure they'd be happy to answer your questions as well. I picked the DB701 handbag kit, which comes in 3 colorways, so red, pink, or dark green. I picked the dark green one because I absolutely love that color. And this handbag is made with top grain leather. It has a rectangular shape with a rectangular bottom so that it's easy to stand up. It has 2 different strap options, so a short handle and then a longer crossbody strap, depending on which way you'd like to wear it. And it also has an inner zippered compartment and also a top zipper so you can close the bag up, which is really useful if you live in a city like I do. I really love this color and I think it'll go with most of my handmade wardrobe, including the coats that I've made. And then I also love the versatility of the handles, so I usually wear my bags crossbody, but I like that you can detach them and then use it as sort of a dinner date handbag or going out, and so it seems, pretty versatile. I especially love the inner compartment that's zippered because I like having the inside of my bag being well organized and everything in its place. And then the scarf detail on the handle especially appeals to me because I do like accessorizing with scarves. So this bag was gifted to me in exchange for my honest review of the making experience. They have also given me a discount code to share with you to get 10% off any of the kits on their website. This is an affiliate code, so if you use it, Solace Leather shares a small percentage of the proceeds with me at no extra cost to you. So I have received the kit, safe and sound. Everything seems very well packaged. I'm going to take it apart and see what's inside now. I watched the video tutorial, the step-by-step video tutorial quickly, just sort of skimmed through it to see what I would be doing, and I'm so excited. It looks like techniques that aren't super difficult, just specific to leatherwork that I need to learn. And it says that this project takes between 3 to 5 hours, so we'll see how slowly or quickly I work through it. I think that everyone goes at their own pace, but I am encouraged to know that it doesn't take days, and I'm excited to get to it. Hello everybody, it is the next afternoon now, and I spent a few hours this morning putting on these strap pieces here. The stitching is pretty interesting in that I find it easy, or relatively easy, to get into the rhythm of how to stitch with 2 needles, and I really enjoy the process of crafting this, and I find the instructions really easy to follow since it's a step-by-step tutorial. I think the difficulty is that it's quite hard to pull the needle and thread through this material, and so my fingers and my wrists are getting pretty sore. I have been working with thimbles, and you do get 2 thimbles within the kit. You get this one that sort of rolls onto your finger, and then you have this one. But this one I find is a little bit too thin to protect your finger from getting sore from pinching the needle, because you have to pinch it pretty hard to pull it through. And this one doesn't stay on my fingers. It's a little bit too big for me. Might stay on this way, but well, maybe I could use it in this one. But I've been using mostly this one. This is a faux leather thimble that I like to use because it both pushes and grips at the same time. Like, I can push needles through and grip because that's how I work. I need to be able to grip with my middle finger. I was using my silicone ones as well earlier, but they rip because I am gripping and pulling pretty hard, and I've already ripped one, which is not great. So if you know of any good thimbles for working with thick fabric like gabardine or leatherwork or even bookbinding, let me know. I am all ears. I usually prefer the ones that are a bit more flexible because I like to be able to grip with all fingers, and I don't really like the hard ones like this one. I find that they sort of take away some of the usefulness of your finger that way. Anyway, let me know if you have any recommendations. The next step will be to attach these 2 together, the bottoms, so that it starts to create the shape of a purse, which is so exciting. I kind of feel like I did when I first started sewing, as in watching a flat piece of fabric become a 3-dimensional garment was so cool, and it's kind of the same with this. Like, I have absolutely no idea what the steps are to constructing a bag, and just seeing it come together as I follow the instructions almost blindly is just sort of magical. It reminds me of, my beginning sewing days, which is kind of cool. And if my hands and fingers weren't so sore, I would probably have sewn this for a lot longer yesterday. So that's my advice to you if you are going to try leatherwork for the first time, is to space out your sessions, because it is quite tough on the hands and fingers unless you have very strong wrists and fingers, which I hope to have one day. So I'm going to get to that now. I'm excited to continue. I am bundled up today because I have a crick in my neck and it's quite painful. So I'm keeping it nice and warm to try and ease that muscle ache. I think it'll be okay. But yeah, I might work a little bit slower today, but I'm excited to keep going. It's a few days later now, and my hand is nice and rested. I have also finished all of the top stitching on this bag, and I just have the final details to put in. And so I stitched the sides, and these were definitely the hardest, or at least the corners. These bottom corners were really, really hard because the side piece gets stitched this way, and then it sort of overlaps, it changes position and overlaps over this piece, and it was just really hard to figure out. My advice to you, if you are going to do one of the Solace Leather kits, because there are no written instructions, but there is a video tutorial for each bag, and tricky parts like the corners, you have to make sure that your bag is positioned and you start stitching in the correct position or the exact same position as the person or the tutorial in the video, because, for example, this stitch is a U-shaped stitch. It goes continuously this way, so you could start on this side or you could start on this side. It would be the same thing. But if the video starts on this side, or the tutorial, it's easier to follow from this side because once you get to the corners, it's going to be different. Depending on how you're looking at it, or if in the video they start stitching from this side versus this side, that's going to influence how it works here as well. And so even though you could logically start on either side, it's the same, figuring out the corner, at least on my own, was impossible. And so that's what I recommend, is positioning where you start stitching and also the pieces. So starting up here versus up here, even though it's the same stitch, is my advice to you. And so I have finished all of the top stitching, which is all of the stitching actually, and I think that's why it took me a bit longer than I anticipated, is because I'm a little bit of a stickler about top stitching. I really like it to be as perfect as I can make it, or not perfect. Perfect is not a great word when you're in sewing and things. I know that that is unhealthy, but I like it to be immaculate. And so if I didn't have enough thread, or if my thread broke or tangled, I would start again. And so if you're not as much of a stickler as me, this probably doesn't take as long. And so now I have only a few extra things to do to finish this bag. I have the inner bottom to insert inside the bag, and then the little feet to put on. I have this scarf to wrap around the handle, and then I have the longer straps to attach, which will just clip on. And so yeah, I am almost finished, and let me get to that now. So there you have it. That is my bag finished, and I am so proud of this very first bag that I've made. I was always very intimidated by leatherwork, and so I wasn't sure how this was going to go. But I think that this kit especially made it very easy and approachable, and I had all of the tools that I needed, all of the techniques that I needed to know, and it was just very simply all there organized for me, which was very convenient. I really love the square shape of it, how it has these short handles for holding just on your elbow, or the longer strap for wearing crossbody or just on the shoulder. I usually wear my bags crossbody so that I have both arms free and available to hold different things. But I do like that this bag has so much versatility in that you can wear it all different kinds of ways and for different occasions as well. For example, I could always remove this silk scarf if I wanted something a little bit less fancy, or I could have it on at all times, which I think I will because I think it's a really nice touch. I could wear it on my elbow if I were going out for dinner with my husband or to the ballet or something like that, or just on my shoulder or as a crossbody bag when I'm traveling, for example. I love that it zips up at the top so that it closes up while you're using it and wearing it, because I can be clumsy sometimes, and when I knock over my bag, I don't want everything spewing out on the floor, especially if I'm in public transportation or on the sidewalk or something. And I love that it has an interior zipped bag for all the little things you keep, like lip gloss or pens, pencils, things like that that you might want to keep safe. I love that it has little feet so that it'll stand up on its own and not flop over when I put it down on the ground at home or, I don't know, out. I love that the top stitching is also this lighter, almost bright green. I think that in contrast to the dark green of the leather, it looks really, really nice. And then, yeah, this added silk scarf just adds a little bit more texture and luxury to this bag, which is one of the reasons why I picked it. I like all of the hardware and how it's available in gold. I think that some of their kits propose different metal colors if you prefer silver, for example. And yeah, it seems of good quality, nice and sturdy, and I think that this bag is going to last me a very long time. My two big tips for you from this experience is to give yourself time and space out the sessions where you work on this to avoid cramping and hand pain, and then also to follow the video and positioning of your needle and the pieces exactly so that you avoid any confusion like I had with the corners of this bag. I think that with this kit you not only get all of the tools and materials that you need to make it, but you don't need prior sewing experience because you're only using one stitch as the top stitching along these seams, and it's shown to you in detail in the beginning of the video, and it's quite simple once you get the hang of it. I had never sewn with two needles before or leatherwork before, so it was something that I was able to get into too for the very first time, and I didn't find it difficult. And it was actually pretty cool because you see videos of, you know, old-time leatherworkers or cobblers sewing with two threads and pulling it tight, and it just reminded me of that, like, oh, I'm doing it too. Anyway, that's just me geeking out. But yeah, I think that you don't need to have sewing experience to do one of these kits, or at least this one. I think that, yeah, it'd be interesting for anyone who's curious about leatherwork. This would even be a great gift, for example, to make a bag and gift it to someone, or to offer the kit to someone who is interested in trying out leatherwork and making something with their hands, because leatherwork seems like this very inaccessible craft, and oh, it's just so cool to be able to do it yourself. So yeah, I highly recommend it as a gift as well. Don't forget that there's a discount code that Solace Leather has created for me to share with you to get 10% off your purchases of any of the kits on their site. So don't forget to put that in if you are interested and you would like 10% off. I hope that you enjoyed seeing this process, that you found this interesting, that leatherwork is something that perhaps has piqued your interest as well. Let me know if you've ever tried leatherwork before and what you've made or what you would like to make if you were ever to try it. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to give it a like and subscribe. And if you'd like to send a tip, tips are incredibly helpful as to keeping this channel going and helping me to devote my time and energy to making videos for you. And so don't hesitate to leave one either via Ko-fi, which I will link below, my Ko-fi account below in the description, or via the YouTube Super Thanks if you prefer that option. And all contributions are very helpful. I hope you are all doing well, and I will be back very soon with a new video. So stay tuned, take care, and bye-bye.